Greetings folks, and welcome to a new series called Tuesday Tuning. This is a series where instead of the recreations or replicas that I try to make on my Hyundai Motors, I show off more original stuff there, even if there is some basis on something else. So for this one, leaning heavily into the 2 and Tuesday, see where I'm going with that, I'm going to show off two particular builds I've done for the Renault Captur-S. And these are inspired by Renault's history with one-make racing, particularly their World Series. One, of course, particularly based on the Clio Cup, the long-running one that they've had. And, of course, one based off of their trophy stuff. One that's mostly featured the Megane, but then also temporarily featured the RS01. So, let's get into these. So this was inspired, like I said, by the Clio Cup. And the idea kind of stemmed from the fact that since this car has its chassis, it shares it with the Clio, in fact, why not make a cup car out of it? So, this doesn't have a lot of cosmetic stuff done to it other than the ducktail spoiler, as well as your usual hood pin and tow hook stuff, and the OZ wheels that I put on it. But as performance-wise go, as you'll see on the screen there, a lot of stuff's been done to it to get its performance somewhere near that. So that was the goal on there. So I didn't do a lot of power mods. I didn't do a lot of this and that. So let's take a look at all these performance figures and see what that does. So with the road car, obviously I had to make a baseline time for that to beat. And as I've said in the review, the road car feels fantastic. It really rolls really well through the corners and so forth. It doesn't really feel all that heavy, to be honest. And again, I think sharing that chassis with the Clio does a lot for it in that regard. So it handles pretty well. So it's a pretty good baseline to begin with. So what does the cup car build then look like in comparison? So after doing some with it, this cup build, it's incredible as well. Obviously the acceleration gets a big old boost there, as does the cornering. But overall, I've taken the car that already feels fantastic and made it feel just a bit more fantastic. It feels pretty much perfectly like what the cup car should feel like, essentially. And I've gotten the horsepower and the weight to a similar degree. So, it feels amazing there with that lap that it's just done. And now, we compare that to the next build I had. Now, admittedly, this one was made initially with that one-make capture in mind for that weekly challenges, as you might remember. But it's from this that the whole idea for this series and for these builds kind of stemmed from. So, I think it's only fair that we include this on it. Now, obviously, with this being more racy, I decided to make this more towards, again, the trophy category of cars. Now granted, of course, I can do the whole gutting them out and making it a silhouette racer kind of thing. So the next best thing to do is just up the power even more, take some more weight off, and the weight is also even lighter. And also, some stuff's been done to it, wide body, a little spoiler wing action there. And then on track, unsurprisingly, the fastest of the three. And again, it feels fantastic. And I want to point out, I have not put a setup on any of these, now road car for obvious reasons, but on both my builds, I have not put a setup on these. It just feels that great. It feels that wonderful. That's basically what this is here, is I take these cars there, I have my little originals that I've had ideas of making them, and pretty much show you how I've done those. So if you like this new series, give this a like, share, subscribe. And I hope to make this a regular thing on Tuesdays, so click the bell icon if you want to be notified when those come out on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Again, you can see where I'm going with this joke. So that's it for me, and I will see you guys in the next video.